Hi PowerShell community, and welcome our guest today from Norway, Jan Egil Ring. He is one of the 40 plus speakers of the upcoming PowerShell conference Europe in June, which will take place in the beautiful country of Austria. Thank you, Jan. Will you please introduce yourself a little bit so the community gets a better idea of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so my name is Jan. I'm from Norway. I work at a company called Crayon as a lead architect within infrastructure. So I work a lot with cloud infrastructure, automation, of course, a lot of PowerShell, and so on. Regarding the conference, I've been there, I think it's 3 or 4 times in Germany. So I've never been to Vienna before, so I really look forward to that.
But I need to interrupt. It's not so good for Austrian to compare Austria and Germany. So that can be dangerous sometimes.
Okay.
So
Sure.
you haven't been in Austria before?
No, it's the first time.
No.
It's the first.
Okay. So what I missed in the introduction, you are 11-time Microsoft Azure MVP.
Yeah.
And the founder of the Azure User Group. And the colleague of Robert Strand, because I talked with him 2 days ago.
Yeah,
also in
right.
the same video. So you work together at the same company.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So let's talk about your sessions. What I saw, you have 2 sessions at the PowerShell conference. It is getting started with dev containers in VS Code and Azure Policy Guest Configuration Cloud Edition of DSC.
Yeah.
Would you explain a little bit about your session and why should the attendees go into your session and what they can expect?
Yeah, sure. So the first one will be about the guest configuration. For those who have not heard about it before, it's a feature in Azure Policy, which makes it possible to apply basically desired state configurations to virtual machines running basically anywhere. You can do it, of course, against Azure VMs, but you can also do it via Azure Arc against VMs that run either on premises or in AWS or basically anywhere that where you have a network connection to Azure. So for everyone who have worked with configuration management and PowerShell desired state configuration, I think that should be an interesting session to see how things have evolved since the early days where we used Azure automation as a pull server, for example. So I really look forward to that session. The other session is about the dev containers in Visual Studio Code. So there you will learn how you can first and foremost set up the environment, what the benefits are. For example, that you get a consistent environment. You can share the dev container configuration with your colleagues or team, so everyone have the exact same versions of PowerShell versions, Terraform, Azure CLI, whatever the project is using. You get a consistent experience and also don't have to clutter your local environment. So I will show some tips and tricks regarding how you can configure and set up the dev containers, how things are working with regarding local credentials such as SSH keys and so on. So basically some experiences with the hands-on how you can use that feature in practice.
Okay, sounds good. And you mentioned VS Code. So you're one of those guys, me too, hopefully, to use VS Code on a daily basis, or you're switching back to ESE, or are you only using VS Code?
I do go back to ISE sometimes if I do something that is specific to, for example, Hyper-V or failover clustering or some modules that doesn't work in the modern editor. But for everything I do in day-to-day work with Terraform and Azure PowerShell and CLI and things like that, I use VS Code for everything.
Okay, so doing those videos, I talked to several PowerShell guys, and there's still PowerShell pros which like ESA more than VS Code. So that's why I'm asking. But you are on VS Code.
Yeah, I am.
Mainly. Okay. Yeah. I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you learned Chinese language a year long, 2014 till 2015. Are you still learning Chinese, or are you still able to speak Chinese?
I don't think that was my profile.
Wasn't it yours?
No, I have never tried to learn Chinese,
Okay,
at least.
so maybe I missed this.
Yeah,
But I saw on the MVP profile that you worked with System Center before,
yeah,
a long time ago, I
yeah,
think.
that's
So
correct.
what have you worked for with System Center? What product?
I worked a lot with Virtual Machine Manager. That's the one I
Okay.
worked most with. So I did a lot of automation again, using PowerShell there. So in those days, I used ISE a lot and other System Center products, a little bit with the Data Protection Manager, a little bit with SCOM, and of course the System Center SMA. What was the full name? System Center.
Orchestrator before.
Yeah, Orchestrator before
Orchestrator.
that. Yeah, correct.
You worked with DPM before?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay. So I did also, but I think it was the bad decision as they moved to the new file system. They got a lot of problems.
Yeah,
But
REFS. Yeah, it was
yes.
a problem. I have a customer who's still using it, and I know they
Okay.
have a lot of issues still, unfortunately. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Still issues with this RFS file system.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the beginning, we already said that you've never been in Austria before. So what is typically for you when you think about Austria? What comes in your mind? What is typically in Austria, in your opinion?
I'm very interested in soccer, so I think first and foremost about the different soccer teams there. But
Okay.
I've heard a lot of positive experiences from both friends and colleagues who have been there, in addition to, of course, looking at pictures and travel guides. So I really
Okay.
look forward to seeing the city in real life. That will be great.
Okay. So you plan to have a longer stay in Austria, in Vienna, or just for the conference?
I have not decided yet. I might come in a day or two before to see. I need to do some detailed planning.
Okay, and try to see a soccer game.
Yeah, that would be
Okay,
great.
not be too disappointed. The Austrian soccer is not that good, maybe. So
No, but yeah, it's always interesting to see the local teams anyway.
okay. I also saw, hopefully this is not correct, but I think so. You like automation, and I saw on LinkedIn someone said you do home automation. So do you? What is the coolest thing you have automated at home? So I do also home automation and all the stuff.
Yeah.
What was the coolest thing you did?
Yeah, I use the Home Assistant a lot, so I run it in a Docker container, and I have done many different things with lightings and such. So, for example, when I enter a Teams meeting, the Home Assistant sensor on my computer will trigger Home Assistant and configure a Philips Hue lamp to be red in the hallway,
Okay.
so that
Okay.
the wife and kids can know that I'm in a meeting. And it also will mute the Sonos, the speaker,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's playing music. And
Okay.
when we hang up the meeting, it will reverse it, put the lightning back to white, and resume the music, and yeah, lots of things like that. Some
Okay.
practice automation.
The thing with the Hui lamp we should talk about when we meet in Austria, because that's something I also need to achieve at my home. But from the experience, are the kids taking care of the red light or just entering the room?
No, they know it, so
They know it? Okay.
yeah, it's really working.
How old are your kids?
5 and 7.
5 and 7. Okay. So
Yeah.
they take care if the red light don't open
Yeah,
the.
yeah, they can
Okay.
enter, but they know that they don't have to. They don't need to speak or interrupt.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. That's a good idea.
yeah.
Okay. So the last question for today, what is your favorite PowerShell commandlet and PowerShell module?
For module, I think I must say oh my Posh. For those who haven't used it, it's a prompt theme engine. So technically, the module is just a wrapper for installing the binary executable. But anyway, this is very useful when you work in PowerShell in order to not only get a shiny prompt, but also get some valuable information, such as the context for Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell, which subscriptions are active, kubectl context if you work with Kubernetes, and a lot of other things, for example, memory usage, CPU usage, battery status, and so on. So it's a modular design, so you can set it up regarding what is useful for you. So I think that must be the favorite module. Regarding commandlet, I think that's also related to a module that you mentioned, Robert, before. My colleague, Robert Strand, he has created a Terraform module called TF Tools. And there you have a commandlet called set Terraform version, because using that module, you can both install Terraform, but you can also switch between different versions. And that is very handy when you work with different projects that can maybe use different versions of Terraform. So I think set Terraform version must be the favorite one that I use a lot.
Okay. Need to take a look because I was aware of this module, so need to take a look.
Yeah, TF Tools.
Jan, thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to meet you in person in June. Any last words for the community about your PowerShell, about your Azure user group or something like this you want to tell the community?
Yeah, I just want to say that I really look forward to meeting everyone after a long time with the COVID restrictions. So I'm really looking forward to meeting people again and have a good time in Austria.
Okay, thank you very much and see you in June. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.